The way this town got incorporated is wild, crazy, it's screwed up. What happened was they needed to get some kind of waste treatment system in here, and they decided the best way to do that was to create a town.
They realized that they could get funding to create a sewer plant by becoming a municipality, and they did. That is how the town became the town, to a great degree.
I think they could have created a district, a water district, a sewer district, but they decided that they needed a town, a municipality, and of course that's good for real estate values. So they started, I believe, a referendum, and they need to get so many signatures to get people to agree to want to be governed with a new government. And people weren't going for it. People were like, I don't want to incorporate this area. This place is great. We don't need more government.
Well, there's no question that particularly in desert communities of Arizona, water has premium value, and the control of water has huge economic and political importance.
It was the sewer that drove the whole situation.
If you own the water rights in a desert town, you own that town. There's no other way to say it. When I put all the disconnected witness statements together, it seems like puzzle pieces to a larger picture that always circle back to the water treatment plant.
The short version of what happened was there was a lot of concern over water rights. And of course in the desert, that's a big deal, right?
He wanted it. He wanted the sewer.
I know that some people in Quartzsite viewed that as a shadowy backdrop to the whole controversy.
A new one, not a fixed.
No, he wanted the sewer. He wanted to own it.
So they go out there and they get signatures. It's not working. They're not getting the signatures. So what they decided to do was stage a break-in of the office of the people who were doing it. Richard Oldham, Bob Cappy, and the newspaper guy, Jim Lloyd.
He just, misrepresented facts to everybody, hurt everybody he touched.
Very powerful man, very political.
And he's made a phenomenally good living at it. He's wealthy on account of it. But he's hurt a lot of people in the process.
So a newspaper guy writes up a story. People break into Richard Oldham's office and steal all the signatures. Then they go out in town. People said, well, if that's the way they're going to play the game, I'll sign that thing. And that's how they got the signatures to incorporate Quartzsite.
He's always somehow been involved in politics, whether it's indirectly or directly.
When I first came to Quartzsite and people said that Richard Oldham was kind of like the puppet.
The puppeteer.
Manipulating a lot of the people.
Richard always wanted to be the big-time politician.
I did not believe it because I've never experienced anything like that.
And the sad thing about it is, if Richard would have just told the truth, he could have probably been the governor or a senator. But it got to the point nobody could believe him.
What happened in Quartzsite is an unpopular man years ago got elected as first mayor. In his dealings with being the mayor of the town, he wanted to get a better water system plan for the town. He also included his property.
By many accounts from the witnesses I interviewed for this film, Richard Oldham is the con man responsible for scamming the town into incorporating in order to usurp the county's water rights. not only to feed his RV parks, but also to snub the Board of Supervisors that sat on a panel in the late 1980s.
It all started on a lie. It's not gotten any better since.
I heard that they did it over the summer when nobody was around.
They always do it over the summer when nobody's around. The people clearly at first weren't for it, but they had to create this story to get people angry. And it worked. We got a town. It's been a disaster from the beginning.
It's been the sewer from day one.
Throughout this lineage of events, Oldham had attempted to become the county supervisor. And when that didn't work, it's rumored that he tried to buy the water treatment plant from the county or buy the rights or something like that. And when that didn't work, he allegedly tricked the town into incorporating so that he could at least control the water. But when there was resistance, that's when the rumors started that the water treatment plant was damaged and needed replacing.
The problem with the plant was maintenance. We took a tour of the plant, the council did. There were some cracks around the edge of the ponds. And these were like hairline little cracks in big concrete. It was no problem at all.
Nobody really knows where those rumors were started or how they came about, but out of those rumors flowed a huge number of studies by ADEQ.
We became visible to the ADEQ, Arizona Department of Environmental Quality.
They're coming in and saying, you've got safety issues here. OSHA was in here too and said, you've got safety issues in your water treatment plant, your sewer plant.
In fact, ADEQ said their testing of soil, there were no subsurface leaks in those ponds out there.
So there was nothing wrong with the plant?
Nothing wrong.
You asked me what caused the real fragmentation that everybody saw. It was looked at as a money-making concern.
And that's when it was said that that early council had taken out a bunch of loans and illegally supplanted HERF funds and all of these other things in order to put the town into arrears so that it could go belly up.
Why would someone try to tear down a municipality?
The real goal was trying to bankrupt the town.
Break them to the point of, hey, let's go bankrupt.
And if it went belly up, of course, it would need the savior.
And if they'd have done that, somebody could have bought the waste treatment plant for pennies on the dollar.
The former mayor had offered the county to bail them out of a lawsuit.
He was the first mayor, and he was fine with it because he could control all the money was spent and that sewer.
So there's been unrest ever since the town became a town.
They called me the founding mayor because I worked real hard to get the town incorporated. Mostly for water and sewer is what my object was.
And so what does the big fish in the little pond do? He tries to control that oversight. If that doesn't work, then he tries to fragment it.
The people who were afraid of Richard appeared to me to be legitimately afraid. I mean, they were really scared of Richard.
So it's fear, not putting themselves out there. It's an actual fear.
Yeah, I would say it probably is.
He owns property in the county, and on this property are multiple unmarked wells. He could throw me in a well, I would never be found.
There was a huge amount of fear that we had to battle.
This wasn't a feigned fear. This was, if I wrong Richard, I could end up dead.
I actually have been threatened. My business, my life have been threatened.
The lady that lived here, we used to babysit her kids, was murdered. They couldn't find her body anyplace. And all of a sudden it shows up a week or 2 weeks later. And I had questions then, and I still don't have answers for them.
Why won't anybody just say that? It seems like a pretty easy thing to say.
Because he's still lurking out there and he's litigious.
If you check with the Secretary of State, you'll find there's a lot of people sued Richard Oldham.
He sued his own mother.
He sued his mother at one time.
Oh yeah, the guy is a real highbinder. And she sued him after he pilfered her retirement account.
Do you mind saying who that was?
I'd rather not.
Okay.
You have to be careful about what you say and how you say it.
Do you feel comfortable saying who that is?
I'd probably rather not probably say it.
Fair enough.
With Richard Oldham, I wouldn't even want to try to venture a guess or a comment.
I've seen all the paperwork. I've seen it from day one, and I've known this is the situation, and he knows I know it.
This entire story is basically a huge conglomeration of conspiracy theories. There's a hidden conspiracy theory behind that conspiracy theory. And in this case, there's alleged to be a puppet master pulling the strings of the puppet master. The person rumored to have been driving Richard Oldham was a woman by the name of Deborah Ireland, aka Deborah Helton, aka Deborah Oldham, aka Deborah Prince. She had at least a handful of aliases that I was able to find in my background checks.
Now, I don't know how she ever got tangled up with Oldham, but they deserve each other.
Those guys, oh my goodness, Richard Oldham and Deborah and all them, they spent every waking moment dwelling into everything they could dig up. And they take the tiniest little thing and blow it into a gigantuan thing. And, you know, it was pretty scary. It was like, God, guys, give it up, give it a rest, you know, and they wouldn't. So, you know, after a while, it was like, what's true and what's not?
She was running from somebody when she came to Quartzsite.
The mystery is that Deborah's not her real name, and nobody knows what her real name is.
She knew a lot she didn't want to tell me about.
Somebody thought she was in witness protection, you know?
You'll never get information out of Deborah. She's a smart cookie. She won't tell you nothing.
She's paranoid as hell, I don't know.
Richard thinks everybody's after him. And he's probably got the right to think that. But it's an illusion. Nobody's after Richard. Nobody wants him.
They're probably the most two paranoid people in Quartzsite. Them two, and they really don't have any reason to be. You know, I mean,
nobody's going to kill him. Nobody wants to hurt him.
Well, you know, also if he had his phone sitting there, Deborah was listening to everything. They record everything. You know, they thought I was recording them, but I never did.
I did interview Oldham. He refused to sign my release, and I spent half an hour telling him I'm not going to like manipulate what you say. That's the only reason not to sign this is because you think I'm going to do something to you. And he just would not sign that thing.
That's his girlfriend probably sitting there in his ear saying, "Don't sign nothing." You know?
So I just, if I got to sign this, we're in trouble.
He probably had an earplug in with her telling him.
He's a strange guy, you know.
Right?
No. Did you hear a word I said?
Yes. But I got this damn Facebook thing is going again.
I know. Tell Sam to turn off Facebook.
I mean, you go in that sales office over there and it had all kind of bugs in it, and she was up there in the house recording everything that went on down there.
Camera off, mute, mute's not on, flip, end. I don't want to end, do I? Conversation with D. Oh, there's a little D. Is that how do I turn that thing off?
That's for the first time for you.
Camera off.
Yes.
That does it?
Now it should be a ribbon call.
Add all these ingredients up, and you have a recipe for disaster.
They were fighting over City Hall, and the fight really got dirty.
The town was incorporated, and Oldham became the first mayor. And then you get the mess with Rex Byrd, who was the mayor that won. And when he won, that was when the mess of, him being jailed for trying to kill the other Oldham.